Hello, welcome to class. Today's topic is contemporary Nigeria artist. We are going to look at the person of Ben Enwonwu. He's a sculptor, a painter, and he's a prolific Nigeria artist. Ben was born in July 1917. He died in 5th February 1994. You can see some of his. This is one of his picture as an artist. And again, you can see some of his works where he tried to portray the culture, the tradition of the Nigeria lifestyle. He was a carver and his father was a local carver. Here is another picture of the Queen Elizabeth II. This was the stool or the seat he sat down when he proclaimed the independence of Nigeria. I told you before that he is a prolific artist. Most of his works you can find them in most galleries around the world, like America, Europe, and here is another good picture of Ben Enwonwu, where he tried to portray the religion in Nigeria, and his focus is on the Muslim Friday service. And you can see crowd of persons around, and the portrait of blue. Yes, he's fond with the use of reflective colors like red, yellow, and here is another picture that projects the Benin dancers with the traditional sword, trying to, and a statue or a bust of the Benin tradition is right at the front of the dancers. The next person is Aina Anabulu, and here is a picture of Aina Anabulu. And Aina Anabulu is a portrait painter who specializes in making portraitures for people. Aina is regarded as the father of Nigeria modern art because he fought for the inclusion of art in Nigeria schools. Because at the time he started as an artist, art were not being taught in West Africa and Nigeria particularly. So he fought for the inclusion of art in Nigeria schools, which the government later listened to him. And here, let's go back to some of his works. Here you can see a weaver with someone that is weaving with a loom, a traditional weaver. Okay, we can go back to his biography now again. After the government has listened to him, they included fine art in some of the school curriculum, but he has a problem of teachers, indigenous teachers teaching this subject, so they have to go for expatriate, and that gives birth to the persons of Kenneth More. Here is some of his portrait pictures that you can see right now on the screen, and I told you before that he's good in portraiture. Then the next person we are going to look at is Yusuf Grillo. Yusuf Grillo is a painter, is a moralist. Yusuf Grillo is one of those painters that have done much works in Nigeria, and its works speak volume of his kind of person. Yusuf Grillo was this person that actually brings out pictures or portraitures, painting of blues of different shades. You can see some of his works. You see shades of blue. You see shades of blue, and he was the president of Nigeria Society of Artists, and again he was born in 1934 and died in 23 August 2021. You can see some of his works with still the great different grades of blue, and you can see dancers and drum players going for a festival. Then another work that you can see is this that looks like silhouette, and again he's fond of using different shades of blue, and most times the works are more of geometric shapes. He combined geometric shape to some of his works. And the next person we are going to look at is Uche Okeke. Uche Okeke, born in 13 April 1933, died in 5th January 2016. Uche Okeke is an illustrator, a painter, a sculptor, a poet, artist, and aesthetic theorist. He has organized so many seminars in Nigeria, and now you can see some of his works that since he's an instructor, most of his works are more like caricature but have many undertow meanings surrounding its works. And this is a good example of one of his works. And another one is coming up, the masquerade with the costume of a masquerade, and other works are coming up too that you can see that project the tradition, the culture of its environment. Then the next person is Ladikwali. Ladikwali is a portrait, and a lot of persons does not really know about Ladikwali. Ladikwali is the illustration that you have in the 20 naira note. This is a good picture of Ladikwali, which was translated into drawing that you have in the 20 naira note. Ladikwali has done a lot of work in America, Europe, and is also a graduate of Ahmadu Bello University in 1977, and he has done a lot of work. He has done a lot of portrait work in the presence of white persons, where they have to stay and watch her when she carry out a lot of these works. And he was a traditional potter before he was educated, and she normally used the coil method of modeling for some of our works. Here you can see a good picture of a casserole with cover, a traditional casserole with cover, and here is another picture coming up, some of his water bags, some of our water bags with traditional illustration on them. You see lizards and the use of brands of different shades. And then the next person is Lamidi Fayeke. Lamidi is a carver, a traditional wood carver of the 5th generation. He was born in 1928 and he died in 24 December 2000 at Ile-Ife. He's a sculptor and he has done so many works, and you can see a good picture of Lamidi here with wood, because he specializes in carving wood, and most of these carved wood project the tradition of his environment. And right now, with the one you can see a mother and a child with ornament on her head. Now we are going to come with some other of his works as we look at these works today. Hope to see you in class with new icons of Nigeria as we look at their works, their qualifications, how their environment influence their work and tradition influence their work, and how they are able to project the Nigeria tradition in their works. Here are good examples of some of his works, and this kind of work he produces. A drummer, as you can see, this is a drummer, and more are still coming up.
Professor Benewawu had a spirit of excellence. He was about inspiring a national consciousness, inspiring us as a people through his art. No other Nigerian artist before him, and even presently, had his works embedded in our national consciousness. My name is Oliver Nwanwu. I'm an artist, and I'm the son of the late Professor Benewawu, who is celebrated as one of Africa's pioneer modernist artists. While growing up, to me, he was just daddy. I only just saw him painting and sculpting at home. But it was only when I got to school that I understood his full accomplishment as a Nigerian artist and also a Nigerian statesman. His contributions to art include developing a new visual vocabulary that merged the best of Western conventions of art with our indigenous aesthetics and traditions to develop Nigerian modern art as we know it. Africa is the cradle of civilization. Africa is rich with mythology, and throughout his life he engaged mythological subjects. His treatment of Atlas, major figure in Greek mythology, is very illuminating. He's not representing that figure, with Western conventions and anatomical perspectives, but he is elongating the forms. Even though the figure is static, you can still see the movement in even holding the weight of the world on his shoulders, as he was condemned to for daring to stand up against Zeus. For me, by far, it's one of his very finest pieces and a hallmark of his career. Africa Dances is a theme. I think it's from a series of works that he began and stretched on and spanned for over 6 decades, in his artistic career. It's not just capturing what he saw. It has nothing to do with the form, as it were. It was more for him spiritual, because he believed that true art came from the spirit world. One thing really stood out, how he's able to capture movement and rhythm, which were very important aspects or elements of his art. Through dance, we're able to coexist in a world where the spirits are still with us, and it governs almost everything that we do, even in our celebrations and our masquerade art form. And at the time where the black man was at an obvious disadvantage, he first broke international barriers, exhibiting in August exhibition spaces all over the world. Obintu Dancers is one of his very finest pieces, and for me, a favorite amongst the lots. I love Obintu because of the muted, rich, earthy colors. It depicts the female maidens of Ondo State who come out to dance, and they're compelled to dance. It's part of the tradition, and it's coming into womanhood. For him, the woman was an incubator, the woman was nurturing, the woman was an emblematic way of depicting, African countries coming into their own, from the late 1950s, beginning with Ghana, and in Nigeria in 1960. He was about inspiring the African nations, inspiring Nigerian people at a time when Nigeria and other African countries were aspiring and gaining their independence from their colonial masters. These works were very purposeful in bridging our various ethnic tribes, and we believe that it's very important to show the relevance of art in providing solutions to global issues affecting Africa and the rest of the world. It's because we don't just believe, that art is decorative, and these are things that Benewon himself stood for.